everybody, Buck's Gearbox. Welcome to the table. Hey, today we have a pseudo unboxing of a Civivi knife, and I wanted to specifically show kind of what that's like, what it's like to unbox a new knife from Civivi, because they are known as a budget brand, but I kind of feel like they go out of their way to make it feel like a premium experience. So without further ado, this is kind of what it's like. Now, just so you know, I have used and opened this knife, so it's a pseudo unboxing. But I wanted you to see the experience, because I do feel like for a budget brand, they make it feel like a pretty darn cool experience. Hey, a different kind of sticker. That's awesome. Is that a sticker? I think it's a sticker. So I'm going to show you everything you get in the box. And I just got this recently. This is the Civivi Riffle. And so I'm just showing you all the swag that you get. It's like going to a convention with these guys. Sorry about my shakiness again. There's a little pamphlet. Read this before opening. This is a sharp knife, and this is how to maintain it. If you want to take a look at that, feel free. There's more on this side. Instructions before use. You know, if you're a knife enthusiast, you probably don't really need to read that. If you're new to knife collecting, you might. I love this. This is so cool. I have so many WE knife, Civivi knife, microfiber cloths, and I just like, I'm not even gonna try to get that out right now, I'm struggling. But man, that is a cool touch. I use these for everything, and you know, that's cool that they give you the stuff out of the box. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of the Chris Reeve opening experience, although that is a much more premium experience. It's like opening an Apple product. I mean, you get this case, you get some stickers, some swag, and you get this microfiber cloth. I just think that's pretty cool for a budget brand to give you that much of a premium opening experience. That's pretty special in my book, and I like that quite a bit. I only own about 4 Civivi and WE knives. WE is the kind of parent company of Civivi, and they're more premium knife brand. Okay, so onto the knife. Man, that is a beautiful, beautiful knife right there. And I really kind of caught my eye a long time ago. This knife has actually been out for quite a while. I'm kind of late to the game on getting the Riffle. I don't even have an Elementum yet, if you can believe that, because that's the one everybody knows and everybody talks about. Let's do some specs, and then we'll get into what makes this one a little bit special in my book. 8 inches overall. It's a 3.5 inch blade. It's a 4.5 inch handle. Those are all approximate. It's flat ground, hand rubbed, as they say. The Civivi says hand rubbed, darkened Damascus blade. More on that later. The handle is Sandalwood. It's got black stainless steel liners, which I think looks really sharp on this one. And it's got, it's a liner lock, which I like. I like liner locks quite a bit. It's got a huge opening hole there. You can kind of slow roll it. You can Spidey flick it very easily. Oh, sorry, that was off camera. Pull that back in there so you can see it. And it's got a flipper, and it's got some jimping on the flipper tab. Makes it very, very easy. That's probably the best way to deploy this one, although Spidey flick, I can do it almost every time, and I'm not normally very good at that with knives, so that's pretty cool that I can do that. On this one, they made it fairly easy. It's got a G10 black spacer. All the body screws and the pivot screw are T8s, which is great, less prone to stripping out. The only logo on this particular version of this knife, of the Riffle, is the pivot on the show side, which I really like about Civivi. They don't go crazy with the branding, even on the more plain steel edges. But especially for something like this, I wouldn't want anything on there, on the blade. So that's pretty cool. Runs on some ceramic caged ball bearings. Civivi is known for just having excellent action in their knives, as well as WE. Yeah, it's T6 screws on the pocket clip. This is the normal, I think they've changed the shape just a little bit of this one, but it's their kind of, you know, it's on every knife style pocket clip. It's T6 screws in there, and it is reversible, but it is also, it is not, you can only tip up carry with this knife, so at least as far as I know. Yep, there's no screws for that. Let's talk about the Damascus steel. Actually, first, let's do some size comparisons, because I've got some knives out here on the table ready to go. These are some knives that everybody out there probably knows. If you're watching this video, if you're a knife enthusiast, you know these guys. So here's the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. So obviously it lines up pretty close to the Paramilitary 2. Here's a Benchmade bug out, and the Benchmade full size Griptilian lines up pretty well with that. It's a little bit longer than the bug out, of course. It's fairly light. I want to say this is just over 3 ounces, so it's a little heavier than something like a bug out would be, but it doesn't strike me as a heavy knife at all. I really like it. So there's a few size comparisons of knives that most people out there are fairly familiar with. If you don't have any of those, I highly recommend all of them. They're all great knives, and none of them are super expensive. So anyway, back to our knife here. Let's talk about that Damascus blade, because there's so much out there on the internet that it's hard to be sure like what it's made of. Civivi doesn't advertise that, but so take all this with a grain of salt. This is what I hear. This is based on hearsay. This is a proprietary Damascus steel that Civivi uses. This one's a little bit darker of a finish than the ones I've seen before on Civivi knives. It is stainless. We're pretty sure that that's true. And what I've heard that their Damascus steel is made out of, you know, Damascus is it's a technique. It's a folding of 2 different steels, or maybe even more, together, and forming these really interesting and really pretty patterns on knife steel blades, and it is actually like quite pretty. It's very cool. But I also hear so it's based on 9CR 18 MOV steel, which is you know, it's a budget steel, but from what I've heard, it's a very good budget steel. And I've also heard that it performs very close to 440 stainless, and so it does have stainless properties. We know that for sure. The base model of this knife, the regular one, is G10 or micarta, sorry, handles, and it's 14C28N steel, which is a much better quality. Well, I don't want to say much, but it is a better quality, more budget-friendly steel, and the performance on that steel is quite good. This one, I'm not sure. I've only had this a very short time, and I don't have a whole lot of Damascus blades. I have the Appalachian Drifter, which looks a lot like this, black hand-rubbed Damascus that Civivi calls it, and I've had a good experience so far. So all I can say is, kind of in the short term, so far, so good. The Damascus looks amazing. I have heard people say that's not true Damascus, and that it's like etching and all that kind of stuff, and you know, I don't know for sure, but they call it Damascus, and they'd be opening themselves up to a lot of trouble, I think, if they were just straight up lying. So anyway, this is a beautiful knife. So overall impressions, sorry this video is longer than I like my unboxings and overviews to be, but overall impressions are the same as my impression of the steel. So far, so good, and like really good. It's a thin cutting edge. It feels great. The action is like most Civivi knives and knives I've held. Excellent. So easy to open, so easy to use. This particular one is just flat out gorgeous. I love the way this looks. The sandalwood, the dark sandalwood is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you have a wife like me who likes her essential oils, sandalwood is one that keeps coming up. It has a, you know, it smells good, which is kind of funny. So the knife has some really unique properties. I know, I got a beard and I use beard oil, and sandalwood keeps coming up in some of those recipes I see. And it does smell good. It smells very pleasing. Anyway, I'm sniffing my knife handle or anything, but it's just kind of cool that I had heard of that before, and now there's a knife that's made out of it, and it is absolutely stunning. I mean, this thing is gorgeous, and it's a great combination with that darkened Damascus blade and this dark sandalwood and the black stainless steel liners. It all just forms a very cool, complete package in my book. And for a knife that's under $100, man, this is a win. I really like it. And again, this is just my very first impressions. I've not had this very long at all. So if I have any issues later on, I need to start doing some full reviews, and I will let you know if I have any issues with it in another video, much later date, after I have had a chance to carry it more. All right, that's it for now. I do recommend that this is a cool knife. If you want more performance for sure, then I would go with the base model, because the Damascus is kind of an unknown, but I'm an adventurous guy, and so I'm not afraid. And it is pretty sharp, and I've loved it so far. It cuts well. And this is the Civivi Riffle. Take care.